So, you've got a great business idea. Honestly, that's kind of the easy part. Today, we're going to dive into the real challenge, the marketing playbook that takes your venture from just an idea to something real, something in the hands of actual customers. So, here's what we're going to cover. We'll start with a big, scary reason most startups fail. Then, we'll flip that on its head and look at your secret weapon as an entrepreneur. And finally, we're going to walk through a simple 7-step toolkit you can start using like right now. Okay, so let's get right into it. What's the biggest thing that trips up new founders? You might be surprised. It really boils down to one number, a number that explains why so many incredible ideas just fizzle out. And that number is 14%. Now, you'd think, right, that most startups crash and burn because the product was bad or they just ran out of money. And yeah, that happens. But research from CB Insights shows that a huge chunk, 14%, fail for one simple reason: bad marketing. They just couldn't connect with the people they were built to serve. Your idea is brilliant, no doubt. But how do you make sure anyone actually hears about it? That is the question, isn't it? But here's the good news. You don't need a massive corporate-sized budget. Nope. You just need to be smarter. You need the right strategy to beat those odds. All right, this next part is all about a mindset shift. You have to stop thinking like you're playing the same game as the big corporations. You're not. You can't. You don't have their cash. But guess what? That's not a bug, it's a feature. It's actually your biggest advantage. Let me show you what I mean. Okay, look at this. Traditional marketing, that's for managing brands that are already huge. They're playing defense. Entrepreneurial marketing, what you're doing, is pure offense. You're building something completely new, from the ground up. It's not about one-way communication through giant ad campaigns. It's about sweat equity, your own passion. It's about building real, two-way relationships with customers and being absolutely obsessed with making them happy. And a perfect example of this in action, Drybar. I mean, think about it. Ollie Webb, the founder, she didn't invent the blowout. Of course not. She just reinvented the space to get one. She took one service, obsessed over the customer experience, and turned it into a multi-million-dollar empire. That's the entrepreneurial edge. So, okay, that's the mindset. But how do you actually do it? How do you make it happen? Well, it starts with a classic, powerful framework known as the marketing mix. Seriously, think of this as your playbook, your command center for pretty much every marketing decision you're going to make. And the easiest way to remember this whole toolkit is with these 7 Ps. Yep, 7 key ingredients. We're going to break them down into 2 parts, starting with the absolute core stuff. Okay. Let's get into those core 4 Ps. This is the bedrock, the foundation of your entire strategy. It's all about what you're actually selling. First up, product. Simple, right? But it's so much more than just a thing. Your product has to create real value by solving a real problem. I mean, look at Under Armour. The founder was a football player, and he was just sick of his heavy, sweat-soaked cotton shirts. So he didn't just make another t-shirt. He invented something that solved a very specific, annoying problem for athletes. That's a product with value. Number 2 is price. And listen, this is a big one. Price isn't just a number on a tag, it's a message. It's a powerful signal you send about your product's quality and value. Nail this and you're golden. Get it wrong? Well, it's a really tough spot to be in. And there are a few ways to play this. You could go with penetration pricing. Basically, you come in with a lower price to grab a bunch of customers really fast. Think of how Warby Parker just completely shook up the eyeglass industry by doing that. Or you could do the complete opposite, which is skimming. You start high for the people who have to have it first, like Apple does with every new iPhone, and then you gradually lower the price over time. All right, P number 3 is promotion. This is all about telling your story. And for a startup, this is not about buying a Super Bowl ad. It's about being clever, being scrappy. It's using social media, creating great content, getting some good PR, heck, maybe even pulling off a fun stunt. It's about using everything at your disposal to communicate what makes you special. And the last of the core 4 is place. This is simply about where and how people can buy your stuff. Is it a physical place, a digital one? Are you selling directly from your own website, which gives you all the control? Or are you going through other channels, like putting your product in a grocery store? Okay, so those are the core 4. That's the foundation. But what if you're selling a service? And let's be real, most businesses today have a service component. Well, that's where these next 3 Ps come in, and you could argue they're even more crucial. This is where you stop selling a thing and start creating an unforgettable experience. First up is people. In any service business, your people are the product. They are the living, breathing embodiment of your brand. I mean, just think about your favorite coffee shop. The difference between a barista who's friendly and remembers your name versus one who just doesn't care, that interaction right there is the brand. It's literally the reason you decide to come back or not. Next, the physical environment. And this isn't just about a brick-and-mortar store. It's every tangible cue a customer gets. Your website is a perfect example. A clean, professional, fast-loading site builds instant trust. A slow, buggy, outdated one, it makes you think twice before putting in your credit card info, right? That digital space is sending a very loud message about your quality. I mean, which office would you trust more? A clean, well-lit space or a messy, chaotic one? It's a no-brainer. Why? Because your environment speaks volumes about your professionalism and your values before you've even had a chance to say hello. It really sets the stage for everything that follows. And that brings us to our seventh and final P, process. This is the entire journey a customer takes with you, from start to finish. You want this to be as smooth and painless as possible. Think about how ridiculously easy it is to book something on Airbnb. That seamless process isn't an accident. It's designed to build trust and make you want to use it again. So there you have it, the 7 Ps. And when you start to think about all of these things together, your product, its price, how you talk about it, where you sell it, and the entire human experience around it, that's when it clicks. You're no longer just sitting on an idea. You have a real, honest-to-goodness playbook, an actual strategy. And let's bring this full circle. Remember that scary 14% number we started with? The startups that fail because of poor marketing? Well, this framework, this is your armor against that. Entrepreneurial marketing is not about having the biggest wallet. It's about having the smartest playbook. It's about being thoughtful and intentional about every single one of these 7 elements. So, you've got the playbook now. The only question left is, what's your first move going to be? Thanks for tuning in. Now go take a hard look at your own idea through the lens of these 7 Ps and figure out where you can make your biggest impact, starting today.